attitude too clean with the drip 난 좀 배로 그러면 난 좀 about it go no respect on my name 우리 눈빛부터 달라 I don't play no games
나 주저하지 않아 no bring the loose 말이 너무 많아 우리 실력으로 증명해 전부 background noise
뒤에서만 떠들어 감당 못해 절대 넌
Man I keep it slick 그 태도가 날 설명해 그저 앞만 보고 달려 피할 곳 없어 그냥 부딪혀
뒤에서 씹어대는 게 너의 뜻기 발이 떨려 그럼 언제든지 call me 준비됐다 준비됐어 지금부터 알려줄게 수없이 전에 attitude 넌 거대 attitude 숨길 게 없어 그대로 봐 All attitude 내 방식대로 쓸어 담아 전부 안 되면 그냥 갖다 박아 한 대 맞고 knockdown game over 우리 따라오라면 바꿔야 할 걸 attitude 난 22세기 범상치 않은 Korean Nine on the scene You'll be watching how I do it When I pull up on the street Stay flexing when you care They be getting on the knees Bowing down and make it fair like
느낌 자체가 달라 Check my feet, check my drip, check my wrist day 내 태도는 ice cold 감당 못해 feeling 직진 내 all day Man I keep it slick 그 태도가 날 설명해 그저 앞만 보고 달려 피할 곳 없어 그냥 부딪혀
뒤에서 씹어대는 게 너의 뜻기 발이 떨려 그럼 언제든지 call me 준비됐다 준비됐어 지금부터 알려줄게 수없이 전에 attitude 넌 거대 attitude 숨길 게 없어 그대로 봐 All attitude 내 방식대로 쓸어 담아 전부 안 되면 그냥 갖다 박아 한 대 맞고 knockdown game over 우리 따라오라면 바꿔야 할 걸 attitude
손을 뻗어 reach for the right yeah yeah
Feel the rise jump to the sky 우리 빛나 더 높이 fly
목소리를 높여 sing it right tonight
준비됐다 준비됐어 지금부터 알려줄게 수없이 전에 attitude We got that attitude 넌 got that attitude 숨길 게 없어 그대로 봐 All attitude 내 방식대로 쓸어 담아 전부 안 되면 그냥 갖다 박아 한 대 맞고 knockdown game over 우리 따라오라면 바꿔야 할 걸 attitude
Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, we are flying back into the world. And here we are. And the camera's not on. There it is. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. We're back. We're back. We're back. This music is very intense. I hope you are having a lovely Monday. Welcome back to the stream. Thank you so much for joining me. Oh, yeah. Sorry for the delay. I had a little bit of a microphone issue, which hopefully is now resolved. But hopefully things are looking good and sounded good. So please do let me know if they are not. Welcome back, everyone. In theory, we're live. In theory, we're live. We're doing it. We're back in the world. I'm again on the ship, mostly because I didn't want to record a new intro. So we reused the one from last stream. Yay! We're looking over the beautiful industrial district over there. That is one of our biggest works in progress. And of course, the castle, which is one of our biggest works mostly done. Thanks so much for joining me. Welcome to the stream. It's a dreary Monday, drizzly, a little bit gross where I am. But in Minecraft, it is always beautiful and perfect, isn't it? Except when it's raining. But when it is, you can just sleep through it. And then you get lovely weather again. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. We've got some things to do today. Oh, I'm hovering. That's too weird. We've got some things to do today. I'm standing next to my little sightline indicator guy, who reminds me that things should look good from this angle. Eventually I'll get rid of all those guys, but not anytime soon. So, yeah, so what's going on? Let's see. Last time we did some stuff in the industrial area. We're not going to do too much of that today. I'm taking a break. Taking a break from the industrial area because we've been spending a little bit too much time there, and it's getting a little bit samey, you know? Just a little bit samey. But we did some stuff last time, and we can go take a look at what we did. We'll just remind ourselves. Reminder as well, shameless self-promotion time. If you haven't yet seen it, the We're Moving to Space video is pretty good, I think. So check it out. We won't stick around. We won't keep that up on the screen for too long. But check it out if you like longer, long-form Minecraft videos. If you're here watching a stream, you probably do. So give it a check out if you haven't seen it yet. But anyway, let's get right into it. We have some tasks. I have a plan. I have an ambitious plan, which we'll get to. But first, let's take a look at what we did last time and what I've been doing since we did that. Because the big project last stream was building this tube system. Oh! As you may or may not recall, we got a lot of mileage out of how funny it was that the kelp didn't fall in the thing. But yep, what we did last time was we hooked up the kind of remaining system in this part of the industrial area, which takes all our kelp from our kelp farm here, transports it out the back wall, up that pipe, and into the super smelter so that we can create dried kelp. Everything else already happens. The dried kelp gets crafted into dried kelp blocks, which go into the super smelter as fuel. So it's all automated. And I've done some stuff here. No spoilers. We'll take a look at it in a second. I did have to make a couple of changes to what we did last stream. I couldn't get the water stream working properly the way we'd done it last time. So what I did was I actually just, I took the water up another block, another level, and that allowed us to kind of drop the kelp down into this water stream, which makes it a bit more reliable. Similarly, this one spot that was troublesome for us last time, because we needed that ice there, right? The issue we were having last stream was when the kelp grows here, it tries to float across, but when it hits that ice, there's no water flowing this way to take it along the pipe, right? So what I had done last time as just a little interim thing was have like a hopper catching some of it and putting it in a barrel or a chest, which is fine. And I kept something similar to that. But the way I got around that here was just by having a little diversion of the water. So we actually have another water source back there, which goes that way. And that means that any kelp coming here will fall into that bit and flow over here. And that works perfectly. We did leave a little hopper minecart under here so that some of the kelp that flows across this way will get picked up by this thing and piped out into a little barrel that we have out there. But as you can see, this thing's already totally full. We don't need that much kelp. So any kelp that doesn't get picked up by that thing, which is at this point going to be all of it, will all flow across here into the super smelter. So this is a bit better than what we did last time anyway, because it means that while we do have some kelp there, again, I don't want to look at it quite yet, but while we do have some kelp available to us outside, anything that, you know, whenever I use any of that, that thing will refill, and then the rest of it will just flow into the super smelter. So that's kind of ideal. Additionally, since the last stream, I've been doing a bit more designing out here. I've tried a few little things. So one thing I tried was putting a light on, quote unquote, putting a light on in the factory up there. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'm just playing around with it. Might leave it, might take it away. The other thing I did, let's sleep before it gets dark in here. Ah, what a nice little nap. The other thing I did was I started to do a little bit of decoration of this building above the super smelter. Not a ton, and I'm not sure I like the wood, the wood. I'm not sure I like the wood. I'm not sure I like the wood. So I may end up changing that. But I just wanted to get something in there to try something out. This pipe is still oxidizing, and you may notice, but you probably won't, that this pipe is actually one block to the right of where it was when we built it on stream a few streams ago. And that's because once I put in these pillars and I started taking them up, it just looked a little bit off. So I moved it. And again, to make use of my fancy pants new live stream replay time-lapse technology, we can take a look at this very exciting time-lapse of me moving the pipe. And there it is. You can see it was over to the side. That's where we had originally built it on stream. I took it all down, filled it up with hail moss, and then tore it all down, moved the little dropper dispensing redstone underneath there over one as well, and then built the whole stupid thing back up, connected it up at the top because I had to move that whole water stream over as well. And then, of course, I went and filled this whole thing with water. And that was that. What a beautiful, perfect transition that was back to this. Cool. So I did that. I also have just been playing around a little bit with some decorating over here. You may recall I did these downspouts and talked about them a little bit. I wanted to do a bit more texturing here, and then I wanted to add some details on the ground. And my idea was that because behind here is the kelp farm, I wanted to have some like kelp here. And it's like maybe Sweet Timeless Breath, thank you so much. So maybe it's like these downspouts are here and they're like dripping water and causing this little bit of flooding and like, you know, eroding at the ground here. And maybe because of the chemicals that they're using in there to grow kelp really fast, you know, the kelp is just too powerful. Life finds a way. It started growing out here as well. It's a subtle thing. I don't love the color of the water in this biome, if I'm being honest. I wish it was a little bit less bright, aggressively blue, but you work with what you got, right? I also did it, yeah, just a little bit of texturing just to make this pool look like it's, you know, cracked and eroded into the ground. I think it looks okay. I think my favorite part is the little stair, granite stair underneath this pillar, which makes it look like it's eroding the bottom of the pillar away a little bit too. I kind of like that. Simple. And then, you know, just for decoration, for lore, a little bit of a kelp smelting station here. Obviously, we don't actually have to use this or do any of it manually because we've got the full automated the full automated kelp smelting process over there. But I wanted to make this an area that like symbolizes we're getting kelp and we're using it and we're smelting. And so we've got some dried kelp blocks here as well, which are meant to look like they're kind of tied down to the ground. Something that I'm thinking about is probably changing some of this stone, because right now it's very stony. And I think like a little bit of gravel, a little bit of like maybe even mud or path blocks, maybe. I'm not sure. Once this area starts to come together a bit more, I think we need to think long and hard about about what the ground should really be here, because realistically, this place wouldn't have just been built into sheer stone, right? So we'll play around with it. We may end up changing some of these textures. When will Mojang finally listen and add polluted waters? I agree completely. I would love that. Being able to like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the best way to do it would be. Like, probably the most Minecrafty way somehow would be like having, you know, if you could fill up a cauldron, dye it with some color, then take that out of there with a bucket and be able to use that color water as like a source block. That'd be really cool, but it's probably too complicated. Like, it's probably just too many different possibilities. Yeah, because I know you can dye like so many different combinations of those cauldrons. And then it's like, how would it work if there's two water sources of different colors next to each other? Would they like merge? It gets complicated and kind of gross pretty quickly. But something would be amazing. Maybe even just like, kind of like they've been doing more like particle effects and ambient stuff, like how, yeah, the desert sand now like has a sound effect when you're near it. Like being able to put some block down that discolored all the water in like some radius, that'd be really cool. Maybe that's a better idea. But anyway, yeah, it's raining again, which is annoying, and I just slept. But yeah, so I did a little bit here. I think it looks pretty cool. Honestly, the rain in this factory area is not bad. I kind of like the vibe of it. I'm not loving that it's raining right now for the showcase though. So let's take a little diversion and go under here, get out of the rain, to do another segment. That's right. Let's do another Let's Achieve Something segment. Woohoo! Woohoo! Can I do my emote? No. Can I do my emote? Yes. There we go. Let's try that again. Ooh, let's achieve something. Let's take a look at what achievements we've got and figure out which one we want to get today. Is this how I get here? No. Okay, we only need 2 more. And I'm thinking that crafters crafting crafters, aka be near a crafter when a craft a crafter, should be a pretty simple one to do. And I am still very scared of this smithing with style one, because that's going to be either an entire stream in and of itself, which might end up going on for hours and hours and hours, or something we do like a little bit at a time. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. You know, already we're having to change the segment because I created this segment when I only needed 4 achievements. But hopefully soon, with the summer drop, whenever that comes out, hopefully they'll add some new achievements and we can put off the inevitable a little bit longer. And in theory, the happy gas stuff is coming out pretty soon, right? There's definitely going to be some happy gas achievement, surely. So let's do a crafter crafting crafter kind of thing. All we need to do is be near a crafter when it crafts a crafter. And I happen to have a crafter. And I could probably figure out how to make a crafter because I've clearly done it before. Okay, iron, crafting table, dropper, redstone dust. We've got 2 of these things already right here. I happen to know that we're standing right next to an iron farm. So let's get some iron from here. Doesn't take much. And then what was the last thing? A crafting table? I might have an extra crafting table right here. Nice, in my bundle of useful things, which is a backup of my normal bundle of useful things. So this is going to be the fastest achievement you can imagine. Maybe slightly unceremonious. How do we, okay. This is the real achievement. This is the challenge. Can I remember the crafting recipe that I just looked at 2 seconds ago? Let's see. It probably it probably has iron like this or this. Okay, that seems right. And then I'm thinking that means the redstone dust goes like this. And now this is the question, isn't it? Is it crafting table here or crafting table here? Ah! Ha, ha! There we go. Perfect. And now if I stick a lever on the side of this thing, this device, this give me an achievement device should be ready to go. Hey! Hey! That wasn't anticlimactic at all. Woohoo! We did it! We achieved something again! Congratulations to us. Great job, everybody. Great work, team. We successfully did the segment. All right, let's, I don't know, just throw this stuff in a random shulker box, I guess. Now that we did that exciting thing, and let's verify, we got to make sure. We got to make sure that we did it right. Pop this stuff. You got to always tidy up. Got to tidy up before you move on to the next activity. Okay, let's take a look. Make sure that we actually achieved it. Look at that. 129 out of 130. Perfect. We did it. Recently completed achievements. Crafters, crafting, crafters, kneader, crafting, crafting, crafter. Excellent. Good job, everybody. And now we have successfully killed enough time that I can sleep through the rain, hopefully. Yes. Okay, good. Okay, so once the rain clears up and the weather gets a bit nicer, beautiful. Take one more look at one other thing that I did, because, yeah, so you may recall, and you may have seen in one of my shorts recently, that there was a little bit of an issue where we had kelp shooting out the pipe at the back of this thing over here, and totally overshooting the water stream that we had laid out here. So all I did was extend this out a bit and put another water stream pushing it this way. And we can see what that looks like if I use my very hacky on-off switch here. That will start to bring the bone blocks all the way up to the top to refill the moss farm, which should already be fully full. So they will then just go straight across and drop into the kelp farm, which we should see any second now. Do we see any bone blocks falling in? Oh, stuff's happening. Yep, there's bone blocks falling in. There's kelp coming out. Perfect, perfect. And it's coming across. Excellent. And yeah, so rather than like, I got a lot of good suggestions from people. So thank you for those. Good suggestions to like put a wall here, put another trapdoor there, have this trapdoor, you know, extend, or put a little glass pane here to stop it. But I actually kind of like the, nothing. I'm not just flying back up after falling in a hole. Anyway, that's fine, because this gives me a perfect opportunity to show off the thing I wanted to show off anyway, which is I warped this fence a little bit. So I made this fence. Yeah, I guess I did this off stream, but I talked about it last week a little bit. And what I did here was I wanted to make an entrance out this way. So I just kind of pushed it over. So it's like the, you know, maybe the fence was moved out of the way. It's a little bit, you know, slap shod now. And now, and I did this effect that I actually think looks pretty cool, which is like the polished, what is this? Polished basalt and the normal basalt. And doing those, it kind of makes it look like this thing slid over there, you know, in some way. Again, like when it comes to this floor, there's a lot of texturing conversations and to have and decisions to be made, but I think this looks kind of cool. So yeah, push that out. And what's nice about this is that now you can come over here and you can kind of go out to this little area, which I need to do stuff with. I don't know exactly what this is going to look like, but I went around and I made it so that this is a too tall drop off on every side of it. So this is still technically like kind of the safe, isolated part of this industrial district. But you could come out here and watch the kelp fling out of the pipe. And I think that's kind of fun. So like in my mind, this is somewhere where you could come out and just hang out and watch it do its thing when you want to. And I realized that part of the reason I did this was because I realized that I was building this interesting thing on the back of this factory that you would otherwise kind of just never see. And like from all my other sight lines, like this one, hey, there's a guy holding a thing. Don't do that. Right. This one, it's far enough away, you can't see the item entities. So it's kind of pointless. And obviously, if this one's too far away, then this one's definitely too far away. So like it looks cool, but you can't actually see it in motion. And so I wanted to make a vantage point that would allow you to see it in motion. And so that's what I did here. So like I figure, you know, maybe I'll put a bench out here or something. I don't know exactly what I do. Hey, welcome. Thanks so much for joining. So yeah, obviously I still need to decorate this. I still need to fully put on these back walls and everything, but I want to decorate this, build up something that looks like a, you know, industrial waste treatment plant or something. And, you know, there's green kelp flinging out of this pipe, getting processed and sucked up over there, what have you. And then like eventually have more waste spilling out into this area where we do, thankfully, just because of good luck, we get some nice water discoloration because of whatever biome this is. So like I want to have pipes dumping waste into this water, kind of causing it to become discolored like that. So that's the plan. I can turn this off because we don't really need it going. So let's do that. I'm going to toss all this junk. Again, we're going to use my fancy off switch here. But yeah, I assume there's already way more bone blocks and kelp coming through here than we will ever need. Yeah. This system actually has some challenges. Clearly, we're producing bone blocks. I guess it might not be, it actually won't be as much of an issue when I'm done working through this like backlog of extra bone blocks that I have. Because the way this thing is set up is basically when it's on, it will take any bone blocks other than this first full chest worth. So like, I don't know. I may have to redesign this a little bit because that might be dumb. It probably is kind of dumb. But in theory, once it's like not pulling from a reserve supply of bone blocks and actually just working off of the farm, it won't be producing bone blocks fast enough to cause this level of backup. But right now, yeah, that's not great. It's not great, is it? Producing a ton of this. And I don't know, it may well be coming out too fast for even this part of the system to keep up. I'm not sure. This is what dumps it into the furnace. It seems okay. This is actually holding up, which is good to know. It probably, if the system was able to keep taking all of that extra bone meal that's currently just getting spit out over here, then it would definitely not be able to keep up. But as it is, this kind of works as like a self-limiting thing. So, all right, there's always more to do. There's always more tweaks to make, but we'll get there eventually. So that's that over here. That's the industrial area. That's kind of what we worked on last time and what I did between then and now. But I have grander ambitions for this stream because it's time to get started on something that I have been scared of putting off for a while. And it's not over here. It's over here. And let me just double check one setting real quick. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Got worried for a second that we were going to lose some audio, but we're all good. Cool. Yeah, so there's a project. There's a project that I've been talking about for even worse. Did the audio get bad? Or I think we're still good, right? Cool. So there's a project that I've been talking about working on for literally years, and I have not really started it other than what I did randomly years ago, and I have not come back to it. So let's take a look. If we head over here through the industrial zone, I don't really have a path actually that leads to, I guess this is the path. There used to be a path that went straight through here, but then I built a roller coaster and had a giant hole. But over here is a cave. A cave that I have been talking about working on and building something inside for literally years, and I have not done it yet. So we're finally going to do it. We're finally going to do it, and we're just going to tackle this project one step at a time until we finish it. Because this is the spider cave. Yes, the spider cave. I'm not a huge fan of spiders. I have to be honest. I'm not a huge fan of spiders in real life. They scare me because I have an irrational phobia of them. That being said, intellectually, I like spiders. I think they're good insects. They're not insects, they're arachnids. I think they're good bugs. I like that they eat mosquitoes and protect me from mosquito bites. So I'm a fan. I'm a fan of spiders. I just don't want them crawling on me. That being said, in Minecraft, spiders aren't quite as scary. They're not as creepy and pokey and spindly. They just kind of look silly. So that's fine. They don't bother me as much in this. So we're going to build an entire spider-themed adventure. I've been wanting to do this for a really long time. So I dug out this giant hole a long time ago. I found a massive spider yesterday in my room. That is... I'm sorry. That is not my favorite type of situation to encounter. Good luck to you for having dealt with that. So yes, I dug out this giant cube a really long time ago because I found a spider spawner and I wanted to build an entire experience around the spider spawner. Here's the general idea. Basically, you'll come over here and this will be an ominous, spooky looking spidery cave. You know, you can imagine cobwebs sticking out and all sorts of weird, creepy things, maybe even some bones at the entrance, right? From the spider's victims. But then you'll go into the cave and you'll traverse a spooky tunnel with roots hanging down, and you dug into the earth and like maybe a little, some indication that things are a little bit creepy. So a cobweb here and there, maybe a nest or like a spider egg every once in a while. And then you'll very quickly come across this little area, which will have a makeshift camp that you can sleep at and a barrel to store some things. And that'll be important later. I hate spiders, but they're good for the ecosystem. I know, right? And I'll be honest, I have like a small amount of outdoor space, and we had a spider's web out there, and they were just leaving us alone. Just a spider in its web, leaving us alone. I didn't mess with it. That thing was eating mosquitoes and keeping us from getting bitten by mosquitoes left and right. And I am so grateful for that. And then one day, after a really windy day, I went out there and the spider web had blown away. The spider was gone. It was nowhere to be found. And I'm holding on to hope that it just flew off to some new place and immediately established itself a nice new home where it can live out its retirement in peace after doing such great work for me for so long. Because now there's mosquitoes out there. But anyway, this will be the little camp, little staging area. So the idea is you come in and like almost immediately you reach a staging area. And the idea is you set your spawn at a bed that'll be here, and then you start traversing the challenge. And the reason that this windy path is built the way that it is because, and the reason I dug out, this entire giant cube was so that I could perfectly plan out a pathway that circles around a spider spawner, which you can just see right there. And so everywhere when you're on this path, you're within range of that spider spawner. So the idea is spiders will be spawning constantly and dropping down into this big chamber at the end. That's the idea. So you come here, you set your spawn, you keep going, you walk around here. Ooh, it's spooky, more roots. Maybe there's some parts where you need to like squeeze through some spider webs. Like maybe you have to crawl a little bit or something, right? Like anything that slows the player down just a little bit so that we can spawn as many spiders as possible. I also have some ideas for like little things that they could interact with. So like, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to work, but I kind of want to try it. Like having like little spiders on mine carts or something that like pop out and like pop back in. I don't know. I don't know if it'll work. In theory, nothing should really affect the rates of the spawner. It should just keep churning out spiders as long as there's nothing within like a specific cube rectangle thing right around the spawner. It should be fine. So I can strategically put some other spiders in here as like decoration along the way, or like little jump scares along the way, right? That's the idea. We'll see. This is a very ambitious project. We're going to be taking a lot of these themes and probably implementing like one version of the thing. And then, but that's the fun, right? It's like we're creating an amusement park here. And so you'll keep going. And as you get deeper, I'm kind of imagining it will go from more like dirty, earthy to become more stony, you know, maybe some stone, some tough, some maybe even a little bit of deep slate, but I'm not sure. I might save deep slate for the deepest parts, but you'll keep going. You'll go all the way around here. And maybe somewhere around here, there will be like a WIMP exit. Like, I don't know if you've ever been to Disney World, Disneyland, or wherever, but like some of these places have exits all the way at the very end of the line, right? Where it's the WIMP exit for the person who makes it all the way to the ride and then decides that they don't want to get on the ride. There needs to be a way out for them. So that might be this, because this entrance right here actually leads to the kind of area underneath the main base, the main castle. The base is kind of up there. And this is part of it that I haven't really shown much on stream, if I'm being honest, but this crazy pipe goes all the way down. And there's like some stuff down there. There's stuff along the way. We'll check it all out someday. But so this might be the WIMP exit. Or potentially, if I'm just trying to access parts of this really fast, it could be like the speedy secret entrance. But I don't want to lean too much on that, because part of the whole point of this is having like the experience be the fun experience that you want to do and want to have. So you keep going along here, and then eventually you reach this spot. And what I'm kind of envisioned here is another camp, but like a tattered camp, right? Like a completely abandoned camp where like clearly whoever camped out here did not make it, right? Like I'm thinking bones everywhere, maybe even some like adventurers strung up in webs hanging from the ceiling somehow. I've been playing around with some little design ideas over the years, which we can look at, but that's the ambition. I want you to get here and be like, oh man, I really don't know if I want to keep going beyond here. Something else that might happen is some of the spiders might start pathfinding up to the player at this point. I'm not really sure. This is all going to be subject to experimentation. We'll see. So then you keep going around here, and I'm thinking, oh no, ruining the surprise. Not really much of a surprise. But I'm thinking that when you then come down here, at some point this opens up. So instead of just being a small tunnel, this will be like going down a ledge that leads down into this giant chamber. And I think once you get right about here is probably the point where that would happen, right? So like maybe it's all tunnel and then it opens up right here. And that's because I'm envisioning having a giant spider right here. Not a real living, moving one, obviously, but like a giant organic, an organic sculpture, as it were, of a big, creepy, spindly, giant black spider that looks like it could be the parent of the little Minecraft spiders that will be flooding this place, hopefully. And that will be perched over a giant web right here. And we'll get to why that is in a second. Will you ever use the new Minecraft shaders? Yeah. Are you hyped for the new update with the ghast and vibrant visuals? Is it tomorrow? Oh, that's really exciting. Well, I may have to stream again soon then. Yeah, I'm extremely hyped. I'm really excited for the Happy Ghast for a few reasons. One being, like, there are things that I want to do in terms of detailing the outside of big structures, like the castle, for instance. Like, I think the shape of the castle is really cool, but I think it's lacking in terms of texture, especially like this wall and like over here. Like, this is a lot of stone. And I always told myself at one point, I always told myself eventually I would go back and retexture this and add more detail and stuff. But it's such a pain to build on the outside of giant structures like this. Like, I would have to scaffold all the way up and constantly be breaking and replacing scaffolding and all this stuff. And the ghast is going to make that so much easier. So I'm really excited about that. Even stuff like the factory, right? Like, this is the project that I'm actively working on right now. It's going to be so much easier to be able to ride a ghast up here and just like do little changes to the front of this without having to always scaffold up. So yeah, super excited about that. The other one, vibrant visuals. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm very cautiously optimistic. I've seen, I saw the preview stuff that they showed off for Minecraft Live, and I thought it looked cool, if like a little bit unfinished maybe, or unrefined. But I think whatever they put out, I trust that it's going to be pretty cool looking. And if it's like unobtrusive, if it's not too bad, I'll probably play with it a lot. I have used, so I tried using RTX shaders for a while, just not as a thing that I would keep on all the time, but just as something I would turn on sometimes to see what it looked like. And that's like in the waiting room for the stream, right? Like, there's a slideshow of a bunch of visuals from the world, and that's all with RTX on, and this like RTX resource pack that I found. So I'm hoping, because it seems like they've pretty much abandoned the RTX stuff, I'm hoping the vibrant visuals is like a good replacement for that. And I don't know if it's going to be something that I keep on all the time, or if it's just going to be something that I turn on every once in a while when I want to, really feel the place. So we'll see. I'm excited to test it though. We're all hyped. I'm hyped. I'm hyped too. I really am. So yeah. So you will come around here. You'll come around here. You'll see the giant spider, and you'll head down, and there's going to be a million spiders down here. And in my mind, this is all just like a giant arena, basically, where you fight spiders, you're going across, you're trying to get over here, you're trying to get to the web underneath the big one. And the reason that this thing looks like it does is because originally I was also thinking that this would be like an AFK string farm. And so I think it actually does work. Like, if I turn this on, cool, yeah, we get like some water that comes out and a trident killer going in the middle. And it's a 3-wide trident killer, which should be big enough for spiders. So I think in theory, I could actually give this a try. Yeah, okay, that has spiders spawning, great. It might still be too bright. But basically, this is the idea, is like, the spiders spawn up there, they drop down, and you know, maybe there's some way when you're standing down here to turn on the farm and just get a bunch of string. That being said, I am not hurting for string at all. There's also no trident in here right now, obviously, so the spider's not dying. But yeah, I don't know. I have plenty of string. When I first dug this whole area out, I was thinking that it would be, I was thinking that I would need it as my primary string farm, but it turns out that just having like a tiny little generic hostile mob farm that's always running at the base has given me more string than I will ever need. So it's not really an issue. So I may actually end up just, I don't know. I'll probably try to leave something like this in because I like the idea of this large area having a purpose. Because otherwise, you know, just coming for the adventure is not as great as like needing to have an adventure to get some resource, right? But we'll see. We'll see what's possible. But basically, you'll come along here. I played the preview of Vibrant Visuals and it is good. Great. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I'm excited for it. I really hope it is great. I guess I'll turn this off. And that should work. And these guys will probably come try and get me now. Right, so this will probably be more of what it is spiders coming after you. I think it will need to be dark. I think spiders don't attack you if it's not dark or something. I vaguely feel like I remember that, though I could be totally wrong. So basically you'll come across here. You'll come across to this area, you know, go directly underneath the giant terrifying... Oh, no, I'm in the wrong place. You'll come over here and you'll go underneath the terrifying, creepy, spindly giant spider and jump into the deepest depths of the spider hole. Yes, the spider hole, officially hereby henceforth known as the spider hole forever. The spider hole is the final attraction. And I'm imagining that you'll jump in here, you'll fall through a bunch of webs, which will give this cave spider spawner down here a chance to spawn in some cave spiders. And that's what's beautiful about this area. We have that spider spawner up there perfectly, and then a cave spider down here perfectly. Cave spider spawner, a cave spider spawner down here perfectly. And we're designing little experiences around them so that we get as many spiders loading as possible, and then just chaos, spider chaos. Not the best shaders, but still good. Yeah, good. So then down here, what I want to do, and this was, I didn't even plan this. This is how long ago I came up with this idea. They added subsequently the new potion that makes the like cobweb, the webby potion, the web potion, whatever it's called. The getting all tangled up potion. They added that. And that means that you can splash spiders or cave spiders, for instance, with the getting all tangled up potion. And then when you kill them, they spawn a bunch more cobwebs around them, which is perfect. It means we have renewable cobwebs, and it means that I don't have to like meticulously, carefully place every cobweb in here. I can just turn this whole final challenge into basically a cobweb farm where you just come down here and you just are trying to frantically kill cave spiders left and right, survive for as long as you can, while also maybe like grabbing cobwebs too with shears or something. I have to do some science. I don't really know how cobwebs work that well, so we'll have to play around with that. But that's the idea. Almost 700 subs. Oh yeah, true. We're getting really close. So that's the idea. A spider experience that starts with a bunch of normal spiders, maybe for a string farm, a giant, creepy, fake, organic spider over a hole that leads down into a cave spider spawner nightmare with a secret cobweb farm as well. So that's the plan. Excited. Is everyone as excited as I am? I'm very excited. So let us quickly hop over into the creative world. And I'll do that by doing this. Hello, welcome to my close-up cam. We're going to switch over to the sandbox where I do all my creative testing and stuff. And if we see anything interesting along the way, we'll take a look at that too. All right, here we are. In the creative testing world, you can see there's a lot in here. Let me make sure my render distance is not insane. Sometimes it does this. Cool, great, we're looking good. Yeah, so this is the creative testing world. This was where I planned out the factory facade stuff, as you can see. I was playing with textures and things. I still want to, you know, take some of these elements and incorporate them into the actual industrial area, including like there's a cactus farm that produces green dye. I'll probably do something like this over there. But yeah, so yeah, leaf litter on the ground too. I'm not so sure. I think it could be cool, could be fun. I don't know. I have to think a lot more about the floor, but I think this actually could make the stone problem less of a problem because it kind of makes it look like a different type of like cobblestones or something, or like mud, you know, a little muddy in a way that looks like maybe footprints have been tracking across it. I don't know. There's a lot more to do, but yes, this is the this is the testing grounds. There's a lot here. There's a lot that I've tested out over the years. But there are a couple things in here that are a bit spidery. So let's take a look at those. Look, you can see this thing. This is like my very early prototype for the industrial district fence. It's pretty cool. I even already was thinking bricks back in those days. I've had this world for as long as the other one. So it has just as much crazy nonsense. So let's fly around. I don't think there's anything I need to avoid here, which is good. Oh yeah, this is something, maybe someday, sneak peek. If I ever join an SMP, this is something that I might build pretty early on in the SMP. This is my patented Will-Awake chicken rock that produces infinite meat and has a variable chicken amount selector system. That would be my like episode 1 build if I ever join an SMP. Why do your bricks look different? Yeah, so I use one of the resource packs that I use is from Bedrock Tweaks, which is like the Bedrock edition of Vanilla Tweaks. And I use a lot of the variation resource packs from that. So there's like, so bricks is one of them, bookshelves is another. It creates just like a little bit of variation between the different blocks. So it's not totally repetitive. All right, let's go. Oh, there's the organ. There's the organ prototype. There's a lot here. This is the roulette wheel. Actually, short coming out about that pretty soon. Man, yeah, there's a lot here. But what we're looking for is anything that looks even remotely spidery. So let's do that. And this looks spidery. Cool. Yeah, so this is some of the little bit of prototyping that I did. Now this guy, this is probably what the spider's going to look like, more or less. Right? Like, I think there's obviously changes that I will probably end up making. Is going to have some huge, horrifying abdomen, legs going all over the place, you know, some going up, some going down kind of thing. But I think in particular, I think the fangs work perfectly. And I think the tilted records, music discs, specifically Stahl, I think those as eyes look pretty cool too. And like surrounded by webs and stuff, like I think that could be pretty good. I know it's terrifying and I'm sorry for that. This was another attempt at like another big hanging spider. I don't think that works quite as well. So I'll probably do a lot more playing around with like little details that we can do. I think in terms of like spiders' eggs and stuff, this might be some of the best we're going to do. But we'll see. There's also actually... Do I still have it anywhere? Let me double check because I briefly actually had, before they came out with all the tough variations in the main game, I had a preview world, which I might have, but might not have. I don't know if I have Minecraft preview on here. I do. Okay. Is this going to work? Seems like it is. Do I still have the... Yes. Okay. Amazing. Perfect. And... Whoa. Okay. This is... I guess this is giving me vibrant visuals, which is crazy. I was not expecting that. I guess that it is the preview. Let me... I don't know what to do. Graphics mode. Well, okay. I guess we're looking at this in vibrant visuals. Whoa! Crazy. Anyway, this was... I kind of want to... I mean, this looks awesome. This is really exciting. And it looks much more intense than I feared it might be. Like, I think I was kind of worried that it would be subtle. And this is not subtle. This is really cool, actually. I kind of want to turn it off just to look at this. But I don't know how. Does anybody know how to turn it off? When I go to video, there's vibrant visuals. Can I turn it off or no? Maybe not. I guess that's what I get for loading the preview version. Is it in experimental options or something? If anybody knows how to do this, feel free to put me out of my misery here. I don't see it anywhere. Anyway, doesn't really matter. We'll just look at this in vibrant visuals. I was experimenting with some stuff like for the caves, like tuff, all the different types of tuff. I think they work really well. It looks a little great. Isn't video? Yeah, it is. I see. It's weird because I see like I have this graphics mode drop down, but I feel like I should be able to change it, right? To not be that. Can I change it to custom or something? I don't know. Maybe the preview. Oh, okay. It's like a setting. Let me try that. Well, that was an exciting little taste of that. Oh, yep. You're totally right. Okay, we'll just do normal fancy graphics. Excellent. Thank you. That was very helpful. Yeah, so the reason that this was done in a preview world originally was because they hadn't added these tough stairs and stuff yet. So I made this just to mess around with some ideas. And I think it for like a general palette for the bottom of the area, I think it works. Like some glow lichen to add enough light to make it spawn safe for anything that's not from the spawner. The like cobwebs and white stained glass and diorite looks like weird spider eggs or like things like wrapped up in webs decently enough, I think. And then, yeah, I don't know, like the crystals, I don't know. The crystals look good, I think. Like they kind of just make it, they add a little splash of color, which I think works. I could have spiders placed around like this. That's not the most like inconspicuous thing, having the panes of glass around, but I wanted to just get spiders in here to see what they'd look like. Same with this. Like, does that look like a web? I don't know, maybe, not really. And then, yeah, like boulders. I want it to feel like the whole place is a bunch of boulders and there's like creepy webs in the little cracks and everything. And you never know where spiders might come running out of or something, right? That's the idea. So yeah, this is generally the concept or like kind of the design palette. So let us switch back again. Out of preview, back to reality. Is this gonna work? Yes, perfect. Everything is working correctly. And we're back. Excellent. Yeah, so that's that. There was one other thing that I tried at some point. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. I might not. If we see anything else cool along the way, we could look at that. Here's the prototype for the spaceship. Take a look at this while we're here. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, watch the video, because we moved to space and now we live in something that is 8 times the size of this. Lots of crazy stuff here. Man, that's the shulker farm. I really need to build that thing somewhere. I need so many shulkers that I don't have. There's a lot here. And I don't remember what all of it is by any means. But it's pretty cool to fly around and look at. This is it? No. Oh, I was testing out hammock designs for like the piglin pirate stuff. I'm not very good at custom trees. Not my strong suit. Oh, we're back over here now. Okay, I must have missed it somewhere. Oh, I think this is actually it right here. we were right next to it the whole time. Yeah, so this is in concept. Oh, no spoilers. So the concept with this is like an animated little spider egg. So maybe there's a skulk sensor or something, but you walk past this thing and then it does nothing. Whoops. All right, let me do that. Take number 2. You walk past this thing and then, oh, it opens, it cracks open and a bunch of little spiders come running out. It's kind of the best you could do, probably. It's just a firework. There's like a little firework thing with just a small ball of black fireworks. You know, it's not the most convincing illusion in the world, but I think it is probably the best we can do in terms of particle effects that look like little spiders running around. So I don't know. Maybe we'll do that too. I think that's kind of cool. But the task at hand, oh, actually, I'm quite sure that I have a little bit more spidery testing stuff somewhere. So let me find that one last little thing, and then we'll get into our science for the day. If you see any spiders, point them out. Oh, well, there's the big spider thing. So where's my other spider stuff? Because I've been, like I said, I've been planning this and thinking about this for literally years. And I'm finally doing it. I just have to. I got to start. And once I start, it'll just all happen. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. If I can't find it, if I don't find it within like 30 more seconds of looking, I'll probably just give up. But I thought I had a place where I was testing out. Is this it? No. I had a little place where I was testing out like some cave stuff and playing around with what spider webs might look like. That's not it. That's something else. Not seeing it. Maybe I'll just give up on that for now. I don't find it in like 3 seconds. Yeah, maybe not. Oh, wait, is that it? Is that spiders? Aha! Okay, there's not really much to this. This was my attempt, I think, at trying to create a cave. Okay, I don't think there's anything too surprising here. But there could be little areas where you have to like crawl through, right? I guess that's what I was going for there. And then this... okay, I guess it's not as... not as much as I thought. But that kind of looks like a guy who's been wrapped up in a spider's web and desiccated. So maybe when you're in that little camp where the previous people set up their camp, maybe there's a guy like that hanging above it. That's pretty terrifying. All right, so let's start doing some science. So the first thing I need to know is how do you harvest cobwebs? Because what we're going to build first, I guess I should probably preface this by saying, how are we going to sequence this project, right? Because one option would be start at the mouth of the cave and work our way down and do it that way. But here's the thing. I don't have very many cobwebs at all. Like the only cobwebs I have are just random ones I've come across probably in like strongholds. So we need more. We need a lot more. And part of this project literally is to build a cobweb farm. So that's what we're going to start with. So we're going to kind of actually work our way backwards, starting with the cobweb farm at the very end, the crazy cave spider cobweb farm challenge. That way we can play that while also getting cobwebs to decorate and build the rest of the cave as we then work our way out backwards. And that will also mean that we get to play test that part a lot and refine it through usage over time while we're building the rest of it. And I'm hoping that that sequencing will make a lot of sense and will lead us to a really cool outcome at the end. So the first step in order to accomplish that is figuring out how to actually make the cobweb farm at the end. And there's a few things we need to figure out here. First is, how do cobwebs even work? Because I don't know how cobwebs work. Second is, how does the cobweb potion work? Because I haven't messed around with it at all. All I know is that, what's it called? The Get Entangled? The Tangled potion. The entangled, the tangling up, the webbed, the webby, cobby. We'll have to first figure out the name of the potion too. And then we got to figure out if we can design a little mechanism that somehow whenever spiders spawn from a spider spawner, we want to splash them with that potion. I also don't know how long that potion lasts. I don't know anything about it. So we're going to have to figure it out. And then we're going to have to figure out just like how feasible is it to be killing spiders, having it create more cobwebs, be, taking down cobwebs left and right or whatever. I'm kind of thinking the simplest thing will be to just have like hoppers all along the floor that are collecting everything. And honestly, maybe the way to do that is with mud. See if I can use my fill skills correctly. Something like this. And we're replacing, what are we doing? We're replacing, we want mud. And we're replacing the stone. Is this gonna work? No. Right. I need to actually fill way more than that around me. -3, +3, +3. Hey, there we go. Cool. So if we have mud as the bottom, then we can theoretically just put hoppers underneath this. And I'll do this in a smarter way eventually. But if there's hoppers underneath the mud, then any items that land there, as long as they actually land on the square where I put the hopper, they'll go through. So that way, that's how I'm kind of thinking cobweb collection. And it also means that once you die, because I'm kind of imagining that this is just you die inevitably. Like the way out is death. And it just returns you to that bed that you slept at right at the start of right at the start of the cave. And there will be some kind of item transportation system taking all of the stuff that gets dropped, all of your items and all of the cobwebs that you harvested while you were down here, and pipes them up into like a barrel next to the bed up there or something. So you wake up next to a bed, you hang out for a little bit, and then eventually all your items and all the cobwebs that you harvested come trickling in, and you grab them and you head back out with your cobwebs hunky-dory. So that's the general idea. that being said, I don't really know how cobwebs work. So I think it's like, let's use information that is available to us. So breaking, let's see what the wiki says. Cobwebs can be obtained as an item using shears or a sword with silk touch. That's not okay. That's apparently a thing possible in Java Edition only. Crazy. Otherwise, it would drop a string if broken with a sword. String if water touches it or piston pushes it. So there's no way to get the cobweb item except for with shears, which is kind of interesting because it kind of means that like when you're down there fighting spiders, you're going to have to prioritize. Am I fighting spiders with a sword or am I shearing spiders or am I shearing cobwebs to actually get them? So if we go to survival mode, how fast does this break? Okay, it's not super fast, which is good. So you can be hitting spiders, you can be smacking spiders all around. You're not going to accidentally break a bunch of cobwebs, which is nice. Let me make sure that's true with like all the enchantments though. I assume it is, I just don't know. I got to get back in creative. But then the shears, is this instant? No, okay, shears is also not instant, but maybe it is with efficiency. Can you put efficiency on shears? Let's try all that stuff and just rule things out and just make sure we're not being dumb. So let's get an efficiency 5 book. Let's get a sharpness. Oh, you know what could be fun actually is if there's like a sword in the camp. Like maybe you find a sword in the camp that has Bane of Arthropods on it so that you can be killing the spiders with ease. Or maybe that would make it too easy, you know? Maybe it's better. What am I trying to enchant an anvil? Maybe it's better to not have that so that it's a little bit more of a challenge. Maybe even sharpness is too much. I don't know. So let's do that. And can you do this? Oh, you can. Nice. Okay, so let's see. Does this change anything? Let's get back to survival. Okay, no, it still isn't breaking it. It might be breaking it slightly faster. I can't really tell. Regardless, I think if you're just swinging wildly, going mad, you'll be all right. But then if you shear, okay, it still takes some time. So it's a lot less time though. And that went in the hopper. Perfect. Cool. So yeah, I think that should work. Now the question is, how do we, I guess there's a couple questions. One is, how do we splash newly spawned spiders automatically with a potion? And also, what is the name of the potion? I still don't know the name of the potion. Webby potion, entangled potion, snared potion, splash potion. Weaving. Okay, weaving. Nice. Okay, splash potion of weaving. Lasts for 3 minutes. Can you not extend it? I assume you can't if it doesn't show up in the creative inventory. But I'm kind of surprised by that. So what do I do? Put that there and put this here. Yeah, you can't. That's too bad. Well, whatever. It's one less thing we need to worry about, I guess. So we will need to make splash potions of weaving. So I guess one thing that we could first do is design a little automatic potion brewer for these potions. And I'm not going to totally design it from scratch. There's like a design that I've used before that works pretty well. And the question is, am I going to be able to remember how it works? Unclear. Not guaranteed by any means. What do I need? Hoppers. I need droppers. I need a dispenser to fill up my water. Some water bottles. Or I guess just bottles. And water. And yeah, that's probably, I guess maybe pistons too. Let's see if we can do this. So what does this need? We need a thing that automatically crafts these potions. And what actually are the ingredients of them? Let's put down the brewing stand. So I don't think, has this resource pack updated? No, there's no weaving potions, is there? So let's, I mean, how do you make these? Is it just, does it use a cobweb to make a cobweb potion? That would make sense, right? I feel like that must be it. I guess it needs to be an awkward potion first, probably. We're going to do some science. We're going to do some science. I'll get some nether wart because I assume it needs nether wart. But I guess I don't know for sure. And we'll get a bunch of cobwebs. So I assume if I just try to add a cobweb to this like that, it will not work. And it'll make a stinky potion or whatever they're called. The bad ones, the ones that you can't drink, that are stupid and useless. Mundane potion. Yep, the stinky potion. Okay, so that's nothing. So we need to first create. Oh, I only got one water bottle. We need to first create an awkward potion, and then use cobweb, presumably. I mean, I guess it's possible that's still not the right ingredient, but I feel like it's got to be. There's no way it like takes shears or something, right? So it'll be that, and then to turn it into a splash potion, we need gunpowder. Okay, so we got an awkward potion. Let's see, cobweb seems to be doing something. I'll be right back for a second while this is going. Okay, potion of weaving. Awesome. That worked. And so now if we add gunpowder, it should become a splash potion of weaving, which I assume is what we need. I'm not going to be using dragon's breath to make lingering potions. I'm just doing splash potions. My dragon's breath is my most prized possession because I can't resummon the dragon because I decided to build my storage system in its home. All right, so we have a splash potion of weaving. And so let me get a spider egg here. I guess there'll be cave spiders. And so if I spawn this in, oh, hello, and I splash it. Okay, it has weaving. And so do I. If I go into survival, is it going to attack me? Yes. I guess I'm in peaceful mode. Oh! Wow. That is cool. That actually is really cool. And that works pretty well. And then I can shear these and I can just grab all the things. And a lot of them will be landing on my head probably. So the more that you kill, the more like crazy spidery it gets. I want to try this. But okay, we got to build the thing. We got to build the thing first. Okay, so I'm going to try and remember how to do this. I think I can do this. I think I can do this. I believe in myself. We have something like this. we have like dropper there, dropper there, dropper there. We put nether wart in this one, I think. I might need to look at one of these. I don't know if I'm going to be able to wing this. All right, let's go look at one. I don't remember well enough, and it would just waste everyone's time for me to try to figure that out. The thing is, I've built a bunch of these around the world, so we should be able to find one fairly easily. What? I need to authenticate to Microsoft services? No, I don't. I already am. Let me into my realm, please. Is this because I opened the Minecraft preview? Please. Okay, cool. We're back. Give the castle a moment to load in. It is vast. So yeah, I have a few automatic potion brewing things sprinkled about. One of them is over here. If you didn't know, the Great Hall has a few different levels, right? You can come in, you can observe from a few different levels. And up here on this topmost walkway, looking down over the beautiful feast down there, we have these big barrels. And if we go up to one of these barrels, we can see that it's actually an ale cask. And inside we have potions of poison. So in case you want a potion of poison to drink, get it? It's ale. Get it? You could do that. And we have an automatic potion brewer hidden in the wall here that's automatically replenishing this. That being said, I don't want to be taking poison damage this whole time, so I'm going to go drink some milk real quick. Thankfully, as we learned last time on stream, we have a secret milk cafe, milk on tap right here. Delicious milk. Nothing clears the effects of ale quite like milk. We'll sleep while we're at it. Come on. Okay, this is going to be an exercise in look at a redstone contraption one time and then memorize it perfectly so that I don't have to come back and do it again later. Yeah, so over here, behind the ale cask thing, in this wall is the machine that does this. And where it works is it's basically over here are the things you can refill. So to make poison, it's just spider eye. You actually don't need nether wart for poison, which is interesting. No, I'm lying. I'm wrong. So it's the nether wart on top. Good to know. Nether wart on top, then redstone dust to extend it, then spider eye, right? So it kind of works like this. It's like the nether wart always starts on top because you basically have one preloaded in the chamber. Then you do the thing at the bottom, then you do the next thing. So let me dig in here and take a little look at how this works. Basically, this is what we want to make, is this exact thing. We have the brewing stand right here. We have hoppers going right into it with droppers that drop stuff into those. We have a hopper full of water bottles going in from the side. We've got a comparator making sure that there's, oh man, this is silly. You know what? This entire endeavor is ill-conceived. I don't need to make a potion brewing thing in the creative server right now, in the creative world, because I clearly already know how to do it. And I'll just figure out a way to hook those up eventually somehow anyway. Let's try to design the interesting part, which is the part that actually splashes the spiders with potions. So forget about all of this stuff. We're not doing that right now. What we are doing is getting a spawner. Can I make one? Okay. So basically way up here somewhere, we have a spawner, and if I'm with any luck, I'll have the resource pack on that will let us perfectly visualize the range of this spawner. So let's do that. Oh, yes. Is that it? Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so this is another resource pack, markers pack by Foxy No-Tail. Check it out. This is, I think it's Foxy No-Tail. If it's not, I'm sorry to whoever it actually is. But basically, yeah, this pack is really useful. You can do some tricks with armor stands to visualize stuff. So this is how spawners work in Bedrock Edition. The spiders will be able to spawn anywhere in this green area. And then as long as they drop far enough down, which is not shown in this visualization, but basically anywhere within this red circle, if you're standing inside it, the spawner should be active. And then as long as the spiders drop out of this green zone, basically, more or less, then they'll be able to keep spawning more. So cool. That should work well. I'm really glad that that resource pack worked. So let's just try this by making it nighttime. Will they spawn? Probably not, right? Midnight. They probably won't spawn because the world is peaceful? Question mark. No, okay, it's on hard difficulty. I guess the issue is that I have mob spawning off. Where is that? Down here? Cheats? Yeah, but if I turn this on, then mobs are going to start spawning all over the place, right? I don't actually want that. So I may actually have to build a roof, but that's fine. I'll just build a little roof real quick. And I can do this. Oh, I can just use commands because I know how to do things now. Okay, let me just build a big roof. Fill. Look at this. Okay, so we're going to fill from where I'm standing 15 blocks out one way and then nothing. And then 15 blocks out the other way vertically. And we're going to go to positive 15 and then like what, 1? And then positive 15. And we're just going to do gray concrete. And we're just gonna do keep, think. Hey. Look at that. Perfectly done. Cool. Okay, so now, in theory, if we turn on mob spawning, game rule, do mob spawning true, will we start to get spiders? I'm a fool. I'm such a fool. I need to put a spider in the spawner. Okay, there we go. Look at that. Oh, they're dying. They're falling to their death. Well, I guess they'll be webs, so maybe they won't. But that's not ideal. Of course, things are spawning down there. I should have known. What am I doing? Give me a torch. Give me a torch. Okay, let's... Man, and there's sheep spawning everywhere. Alright, I hope I don't have any important entities around here. Okay. So this should spawn spiders. But a lot of them, I guess, are going to die. But basically, we want to splash them as soon as they're born, probably. It's a slime chunk? Are you kidding me? That's so funny. All right. Let's... Do cobwebs slow spiders down? I thought they didn't get stopped by them. Oh, that's a great point. I actually don't know. Let's see. I can't believe there's slime spawning down there. Yeah, you might be right. Okay, so let's let's do this fill thing again, and we'll just do Cobweb. Web? Oh, I hate when the names don't match the names, you know what I mean? Okay, so that's a big web. That's a big web. You're totally right. Wow, you're totally right. Great call. Okay, so we definitely need to make sure that we're not dropping them too far, that they just die. Can I get rid of these now? Air. Replace web. Nice. Okay, so we need to make sure they're not dying, which clearly that's too tall. How tall does it need to be? What about this? I could probably figure this out by looking it up. Come on, spawn some more. I hope that the player getting stuck in the cobwebs and like falling down for a while gives enough time for a lot of these to spawn. I think that'd be fun. Okay, so they took some damage, but maybe that's not the worst thing in the world, because then it's like you can one-shot them. I'm not sure it would be more fun. Regardless, it doesn't matter. What I'd like to do is splash them up there somehow, if possible. And I guess actually, let me just get rid of this all for now, so that they just fall to their to their doom. But because I want them to keep spawning so we can test, but I don't necessarily want to be like dealing with them this whole time. Okay. There's cows spawning. Okay, so how do we do this? Tripwires? If we have tripwires going all the way across the mouth of the thing, then whenever a spider spawns in it, it would presumably trigger the tripwire. Or even, can you just do string? I don't remember how this works. If something walks into string... Oh man, it's so dark under here. If somebody walks into string that's at the end, that's like a long string, will it still trigger an observer? Or does it need to be a tripwire hook situation for that to work? Right, like, does this do anything? No. It's only once you get to the actual string it's looking at? Yeah, okay, that's fine. In theory, we can do, I think the tripwire hooks thing is not a bad idea. But I am curious, actually, before that, I want to see if a skulk sensor triggers it at all. Right, like, is there anything that will get triggered? So annoying, skulk sensors, stop. All right, so if spiders spawn, does it trigger that? It's too bright. Okay, of course. What am I thinking? So annoying. All right. Does the spiders just spawning trigger the skulk sensor? Yeah. Oh, it does. Oh, that's cool. That might be perfect. Because and that was pretty fast too. So if we can get a skulk sensor to trigger and immediately throw a potion to splash them before they even fall, there's potential. There's potential here. Come on, do it again. Okay, it definitely triggered them. I guess we need... What is it that people do? Glass or a slab or something? We'll do like a deep slate slab. Sure. Get off of here. So I forget exactly how wide that hole is, but it might not matter. It might just depend on how far we can shoot a potion. Okay, yeah, so it definitely triggers them. That's awesome, actually. I'm really happy about that. So let's see how far we can get a potion to to fling onto that thing. I don't really use dispensers like this very often, so I don't really know how it's going to work. Use a button, I guess. I don't really shoot stuff out of dispensers all that much. I need to clear my inventory's a nightmare. Man, this game, in creative mode, please just give us a infinite inventory or something. I don't know. Just let us scroll through. Okay, so we need weaving potions. A name that I definitely knew and totally remembered. And we fill this up. Will that hit that? No. Okay. That's pretty good. I feel like it might have if it was one higher. But I'm not totally confident about that. Will this hit? Will this hit that? Yes. Okay, cool. So in theory, the hole could be like this big. Hey, welcome. Thanks for joining. The hole could be this wide in theory. And now, what's the range of a skulk sensor? I mean, it should just be fine, right? Like, I could probably just pop a skulk sensor right on top of this, and like it might just be that simple. I think I'm hoping that I was just a second too late there. The idea is we want the spiders to spawn and then immediately get splashed, and then it's not happening. It's not happening. Why? Is the skulk sensor too far away? I think a calibrated one has a longer range, right? Maybe I can use that instead. And I shouldn't, I think if I leave it uncalibrated, it'll work for anything. I should probably figure out exactly what the like frequency is or whatever of them spawning. Come on. Spiders. Okay, yeah, that worked, but it was way too slow. Way too slow. Oh no. Okay, so maybe that's not going to work like that. But maybe we can have a dispenser like, oh man, how am I going to get the potions in? So slow, way too slow. Oh man. And like, no, and all I want, like, I don't want there to be a platform or anything. I just want there to be webs, which are not going to slow the spiders down at all. They're only going to slow the player down, which is what I want. Okay, let's see if we can do some trickery here. So maybe like if it's lower, it can splash them as they're falling somehow. Let's try it. I mean, we just have to try, right? Have it throw the potion at the bottom when they take damage from the fall. Oh, that's a good idea. Right, because... Right, this whole time I was kind of thinking like, I want them to get splashed right away so that the player encounters them as they're stuck and falling in. But realistically, like we realized earlier, like they're just gonna fall right through the webs and go straight down no matter what. So yeah, I think that's right. It can just be at the bottom, and it can just be I mean, in theory, it should be as simple as just like, yeah, skulk sensor, dispenser at the bottom. I can figure out the height where they will take damage but not die. And then I could even calibrate. I could potentially do a calibrated skulk sensor that's like calibrated to the frequency of mob taking damage, which I assume is one. And then that way, whenever I hit them with my sword and stuff, like it's continually still splashing more. That might be too much. Yeah, I don't know exactly what the right frequency would be. There is also still probably the tripwire hook option, which I could do. Yeah, I feel like I don't really need to test to like come up with something perfect and creative here. I think I can I just kind of want to try it out in the world. Oh, just in time. Heaven forbid you see the names of the other worlds that I have. Just kidding. There's nothing to see really. I think the first thing I want to check is if I remove that torch and like turn on that cave spider spawner, are they going to fall to their death right now with as deep as I made it? Because if so, then it's not going to work. I might have to raise up the floor a little bit. And then I think, yeah, like it should basically be as simple as, oh, let me get out of here. It should oh, I wasn't showing that the whole time. It should be as simple as, there's the SpongeBob. Yeah, just splashing them when they hit the ground. You're totally right. That's a good call. Oh, that's not my doorway. Here's my doorway. This whole area could use some decoration, I think. Right now, like, this is meant to be a path that leads over to like a nice view of the ship. There's also the spooky hole right here, which we're not going to go down right now. So yeah, I think having the spider cave done, honestly, will be a good like motivator to figure out the rest of the paths here. Because right now, like, the idea is this path will lead up and over to the spider cave. But I don't like having paths where you have to jump. Like, I like making the whole world mostly traversable with just by walking. So I need to think about that some more and redo a lot of these paths just to make them a bit more walkable. But then, yeah, here's the hole. If I... Oh! That's funny. I should have seen that coming. Well, thankfully I'm right here. All right, this is going to be a good test of my gamer prowess. I'm going to water bucket clutch to the bottom of that right now. Let's do it. We can do this. I can definitely do this. I'm not about to embarrass myself again. Definitely not. Okay, yeah, so just to recap, this will be the entrance to the spider cave. You'll come in here. You will set your spawn up here. There will also be a barrel. That's where all your stuff will end up back in if you die in the hole like I just did. But that's not obviously not built yet. You'll walk all the way around here the whole time that you're in here. Oh, I might want to... I don't love the fact that you get the speed boost here. I might need to adjust that if possible so that you don't get speed boost in here. But I don't know if that's going to be possible based on where my beacons are. So you come all the way around here. The whole time you're winding through this creepy, twisty spider tunnel place. And that is allowing spiders to spawn from the spawner here. They're dropping down into the thing at the end. Here you find the abandoned camp of the previous people who tried to come in this cave. You'll see some desiccated bodies hanging from the ceiling and in spider webs and all that kind of stuff. Once you get about here, you'll see the giant spider in the corner over the big spider's web over there. And this place will hopefully be fully full of spiders. You'll walk through here. You'll have to fight your way. You'll have to fight your way through them. And you'll make it to here where you go underneath the giant organic terrifying spider. And then you jump down here and there will be a bunch of cobwebs slowing your fall and making it perfect. But I don't have those right now, so I'm going to bucket clutch. Yeah. Just so you know, apparently on Bedrock, water clutch is super easy. You can just hold down the button and place water and it will work. Maybe that's why I think I'm good at that, and I'm actually not at all. Oh, it's because I didn't have my totem on. I guess if I had my totem on, that would have been slightly less embarrassing, but it's also fine. Who cares? It's all a part of the fun, isn't it? All right, let's just sort this stuff out real quick. Cool. So, yeah. So the question is, right now, if I let all these spiders in, will they die? And I think probably not. This feels pretty, like a pretty small drop to me. So let's check it out. Oh, this is not how I normally keep those. So let's take out all these torches. I don't know what's back there. I guess there's, man, I didn't jump properly. Okay, back here. Oh, there's a mine shaft back there. Okay. That's cool, I guess. Don't need that for anything, but that makes sense because this is a cave spider spawner, obviously, which you only find in mine shafts. So this must have once been a mine shaft. But like I said, I started this so long ago, I'm just finally doing it. Okay, so if I do this, they should start spawning immediately. And I'll need to put a slab or something on top of this eventually. Don't hit me. Okay, it seems like they're fine, and they did die with one hit or not? Can't tell. Let's see. Will more of them spawn? Hopefully. Eventually they will. Come on, friends. Come on. There we go. All right, they don't die, but they take enough damage that with the netherite sharpness 5 sword, you kill them in one hit, which I think is good, probably. Okay, so that worked. That works well. And then I can just set up a skulk sensor down here to splash them with weaving potion when they land down here. And then, okay, so that honestly kind of makes this area easier, because I was kind of imagining that it would be like you're stuck in webs for a lot of it and there's spiders like attacking you mid-web as you're falling. But I think since the spiders just fall straight through the webs, I guess some of them could try to climb up the walls, but they probably won't really reach you. So I think we just have a few strategically placed little webs up here. Maybe like one right at the top that you have to fall through, one, kind of midway that you have to fall through. And that'll just be to give the spawner enough time to spawn a bunch of them. That way, when you land down here, there's already a lot, and then they'll keep spawning on your head as you're down here. You fight them, you kill as many as you can, you switch over to your shears, and you take them out, and then everything will just get collected down here. So I guess, in theory, the simplest thing to do would just be to have a skulk sensor, like, right here, underneath the ground, that splashes a potion, like, at this block. But the problem with that is that might get in the way of the item collection and stuff. So maybe the better thing to do would be to have a dispenser in one of the walls that's doing it. Let's try it. Let's just try it. I think I have everything that I would need for that. I'll probably have to just use like splash. Oh, I don't know if I have anything splashable, but that's fine, because I can just use a different item probably. But in theory, I have skulk sensor. Oh, I don't keep them in here anymore, actually. Right, so I actually don't have any skulk sensors on me. All right, let's go get a skulk sensor. Give it a try. Ouch. Cool. Let's get a skulk sensor, give it a try. I keep them somewhere in my skulk thing. That would make sense. Cool. I have a bunch. So I need some of those. And then I guess, like, should I make actual webby potions? Do I have any cobwebs? How many cobwebs do I have to start this process off is a good question. I think okay, not very many. It's good that we're building a cobweb farm. I guess I should brew. Oh man, I guess I should brew some stuff. What am I doing? Where am I going? Brewing stand. We need a brewing stand. We need blaze powder, which I have right here. We need netherwort. Where do I keep that? Here? Yes. And these we got gunpowder. We need gunpowder. Yes. Okay, good. We got plenty of this stuff. Good. And then we need glass bottles. I got a bunch of glass bottles. Excellent. Okay, we'll give this a try. We're gonna give this a try. We'll call it a proof of concept. And if I can get spiders spawning and getting splashed with a potion that gives them the webbing effect, the weaving effect, I mean, then I'm gonna call that a success. So let's go down here. Let's be careful not to die this time. Beautifully done. Okay. I don't know exactly where to put the dispenser. So let's first just like try out some trajectories. I guess let me get some potions brewing. We'll brew up a few. I need more water. I have water in my tool belt. Make a quick little water source here. And then we can start filling up some bottles. One more for good measure. We're doing this in a pretty inefficient way. And then we'll just do netherwort. Blaze powder. Oops. Blaze powder. Blaze powder netherwort. Blaze powder netherwort. I don't need these spider's eyes. And then what comes after netherwort? I guess I really only need one, right? Is it going to start cooking a second one in if I do this? No, good. Okay. And then I need the next ingredient, which is cobwebs. And then once that's done, the final ingredient, some gunpowder. And let's see what happens if we just stick a dispenser in the wall. Like, what do we think? Here? Seems reasonable. Let's try it. Grab a button. Just to test. Okay, these are done. I'm going to do the gunpowder now to make them into splash potions. This is so fun. I never made any of these types of potions before. Any of these new ones. Okay, so we're brewing up some splash weaving potions just to test this out. We're going to try and put them in here and see how they do in terms of hitting the center of this. And then the question will be, can we put a skulk sensor to trigger that? That will get triggered when spiders fall here, so that when spiders fall, they get splashed with the weaving potion. And so hopefully that kind of makes this into a makeshift, fun, challenging cobweb farm. Let's give it a try. Put all these in here. All right, let's see if this even hits remotely close to where I want it to. That was pretty good. It didn't hit anybody, obviously. I think maybe if I move it down one, it might be even better. This. I'll just break that. Like maybe this will hit right in the center. Yeah, I think that pretty much hit right there. It gave me the effect, which is good. Okay, so if I then do a skulk sensor, but I think how far away? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I'm going to do one of the calibrated ones. And let me actually look at the wiki here, because I'd like to calibrate it to the specific frequency, or whatever you want to call it, of the spider's landing. So it seems like, because I don't want like walking around here to trigger it constantly. So a mobber playing taking damage is one of them, but that might be too much. Like that might be too often. But it might not be possible to do anything different. Unless there is one for a mob spawning. And if this is close enough to trigger a calibrated skulk sensor here, by the time that signal gets here, they'll probably be like on the floor, which could be pretty cool. Let's try that. So in theory, signal strength 14 will do that, which is kind of an annoying one. How do we do 14? 15 minus 1. That's actually not too bad. Okay, so let's just do that. So we'll grab some quick little things, and we'll calibrate our skulk sensor by adding one of these. Is that how it works? How do these work? I don't use these very often because I feel like they're close to being really cool, but not quite there. And then, okay, so in theory, if I have like, they power the block underneath them, right? So if I do just a random like cobblestone or something here, let me in. If we do this, let's get some headroom here. If we do this and put that on there, I guess I should probably take these potions out first. Otherwise it's going to be triggering it constantly. There's always something in the way. Okay. All right. So in theory, let me pop those in there. If I put a skulk sensor here, does this trigger this? Yes. Okay. Excellent. It does. So now I want to calibrate this, if possible, to signal strength 14 only, in the hopes that we're close enough. I think the range is pretty good. What is the range? 16 blocks. That feels pretty good. So every time they spawn up there 15 blocks away, which surely that's 16 blocks. So if we do that, we can do comparator into this, and then we can just do like a silly way to do this, but it'll work. We can just do like, what, torch, dust, that's 15. This is 14. So now, theoretically, this shouldn't trigger for anything but mob spawning. So let's break the torch and see if it works. All right, let's give it a try. Oh, it did. It definitely did. It triggered it for sure. Let me put the potions in there and see if it hits them, if it actually hits the spiders. Dump some of this junk. All right. Okay, there we go. Did it get it? I think it got it, right? And if I kill him? Yes! Okay, this is so cool. This is working perfectly. And then I would need like shears, which I have here. And so I need to be like, oh, let me get these webs quick before more spiders spawn. And look at, oh, this guy, he did get it? Yeah, he did. Wow, okay. This seems to be perfect. I can figure out a way to disguise this a little bit. Probably even just like some glow lichen or something on that would be fine. Let's see if this keeps working. I'm going to go through potions like crazy. So what I should actually do is, if this whole floor is going to be mud and there's going to be hoppers all underneath here, Or hopper minecarts or something, whatever. I have flexibility. And did he get it too? Don't leave. Stop. Come back. I can't tell. I mean, it didn't seem to make webs. But maybe that was just because of how crazy that was. Does it only spawn them on, like, the ground? I don't know much about these potions, clearly. So I'm going to need to be making these potions constantly, which means I'm going to be going through cobwebs like crazy, which means the item collection system down here, did they both get it? 1 and 2. Perfect. Okay, yeah, this is awesome. This is working so well. So the item collection, as I break these cobwebs, it'll probably first use them to replenish the potions, the automated potion making system. That way, that thing is always full of cobwebs, so it can keep making the potions to get more. And if on average I'm getting like 3 cobwebs per spider, and multiple spiders are spawning at the same time and all just getting hit with 1 potion, like, it should net out in favor of extra cobwebs by a lot. Cool. Right, and then it slows you down. Man, this is fun. This is actually working much the way I kind of hoped it would, which is it's like a little bit stressful. Obviously, I want there to be more spiders down here right at the start, which is why I want to have cobwebs here that slow you down and let a bunch generate. But the fact that even when you're down here, they keep coming and you can hit them and then you get trapped in the webs that they make, like, this is cool. This is working really, really well. And it's a pretty cool proof of concept. Awesome. I'm happy with this. This is really cool. There's so much to do. This is just the very beginning. But as far as, like, frankly, this is already kind of a way for me to get webs. I'll just make one of those little potion brewers. That'll be fine. I'll have to stock up on netherwort, I guess. The netherwort, the glass bottles, right? Like, all of that stuff. I'll have to find some way to fill that up with like a lot of those. But the cobwebs should replenish automatically. We'll just, gunpowder, netherwort, and glass bottles. We'll have to have some kind of input somewhere. And I could even use just like straight up glass and have it like craft them automatically into bottles potentially. So I'll do some tinkering and come up with something there. But the fact that this works is really exciting. And I'm starting to see the vision, and I think that's good because starting to see the vision means I'm getting excited about it. And getting excited about it means I'm going to actually do it finally after so long, after so many years of just saying I was going to work on this project someday. Here I am. I'm going to finally do it. But I'm calling that a success. We accomplished a few things today. We got the Crafters Crafting achievement, which is very exciting. And we got to look at some spidery stuff. We got to get everybody excited, hopefully, about that project and do a little proof of concept with the cobweb generator at the end there, which is really fun, really exciting. And so I think on that note, I'm going to call it a stream. But thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you have had a blast here with me today. And I hope that you join me again next time, which will be pretty soon. Because if the happy gas and stuff is all coming out tomorrow, just like I'm flying off into space right now in this outro, we're going to be flying around a lot once I get my hands on a ghast. So get excited for that as well. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time, this has been Will Awake, of course, and I'll see you later.